Hello, and welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle with me, your host, Joshua Smith. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Monday. You made it through the weekend. We're back to another week of work. I know that sucks, but weekend's rolling around again. It happens at the end of every week. Thank the good Lord. We are dropping frames again. So if you're watching this live, I apologize. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't get it. Yeah. So if you guys are having like a real bad laggy problem right now, I'm sorry. But we will get it fixed by the next show because I have Wednesday and Thursday off. But we did hit the record button early this time, so we'll have the whole show recorded in case you miss it live, which sucks. Really breaking into my super chats here. Fucking sucks ass, dude. I'm not a big fan of it. But is it bad? Is it real bad again?
Like, just loading.
Fuck, dude. I don't know why it's doing that. It doesn't make any sense. We got to figure out what's
Instead of
going
dropping frames, we should be dropping bars with Derek.
We should be dropping bars. We do have a good show for you guys tonight, though. That much I can tell you is for sure. But I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we just got to drop the bitrate like amazingly. It doesn't make any sense because all the cameras we're using are like 60 FPS, 1080p. So everything should be set right on OBS. I don't get it. It's freezing for David Brady, too. Poor little guy. I feel terrible for him.
David will be fine.
I feel terrible for him. But I'm sacrificing the Dallas Cowboys game tonight, so everybody can be mad at me. But we will have this show up and running for you. If you don't get to see it live, it'll be rebroadcast. I promise. Well, let's get into some sponsors. As per the usual, we got TopLobster.com, the man, the myth, the legend, my good friend and partner on Break the Cycle, where you can get this great Tree of Liberty Must Be Watered shirt that you see me wearing tonight by using BTC at checkout for a 10% discount. Or you can join the Discord, or or you can join the Patreon, subscribe star, become a member of the YouTube channel under all my videos by hitting the join link, where you can get into a private Discord server that you can get all Top Lobster's new gear up to 2 weeks before it goes to the general public at like a 30% discount. I'm going to have to make my phone.
Hell
fire.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So like seriously, if you join the Patreon or the subscribe star, which is just either one of those places / Break the Cycle JS, and you do like $5 or $10 a month, but you're buying Top Lobster gear, you're actually saving money and supporting us both. It's pretty
Yeah, if you
dope.
buy 10 shirts, you get 3 free.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty dope. You get 3 free, plus you support Break the Cycle and Top Lobster.
You get to be the top lobster.
Yeah, exactly.
What am I going to do with 13 shirts?
Wear them?
Bro, you know how many Top Lobster shirts I have? I have so many Top Lobster shirts.
Probably buy more because they're awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today. See what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. Haven the Poor is amazing, and they're doing a wonderful job that the government has historically sucked at. Much cheaper and much more efficiently. Seriously, if you own a business, go check them out today. I promise you they're going to help you organize, prepare for emergencies, and you're going to be happy that you did so. And of course, new executive producer of the show, Colwell Creative Content, my good friend Craig over there. They specialize in SEO to help your site rank well on Google or other search engines, website design, optimized website content writing, optimized blog post, copywriting, social media content management, newsletter writing and design, ghostwriting and editing services, resume and cover letter writing. They work with all kinds of clients, including real estate, addiction treatment, mental health, healthcare, banking and payment processing, but not the Federal Reserve. Not the Federal Reserve, no. And they've worked with about just every industry, even libertarian political candidates, such as Larry Sharp, my mentor, my buddy, my good friend Larry Sharp, who I don't always see eye to eye with, but he taught me so much about the political game, man. I can't talk as fast as him because I'm not from New York, but you know, who cares? Who cares? As per the usual, my great, amazing, wonderful, well-haired co-host, Mr. Ryan Kurtzer. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. It's Ian Crosland, IanCrosland.net.
Graphing, by
usual,
graphing?
Yeah, by graphing. Can I get some yup cocks in the comments because live chat really isn't going to be working, at least on YouTube. I don't know anywhere else, so let's spam the comments with some yup cocks.
By the next show, we will absolutely have that shit fixed.
Yeah.
It has to. It has to.
Yeah.
I really should have fixed it over the weekend.
Mm-hmm. We should do like a streamed like on like Thursday at like 6:30 or something to like just sort these issues out.
Well, I thought it was just because the virtual guest, because it had only happened on virtual guest shows, and now we're not doing a virtual guest show.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, I don't think I have anything open. I'm not sure what the hell is going on here, dude. Yep, dropping 60% of frames, bro. That's a lot of frames to be dropping on the stream. But when we re-upload it, it won't have that problem. It's very strange, dude. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. But anyways, we have a great show for you tonight, and 2 amazing guests in the studio, which is a first for Break the Cycle. We've never had a guest. We've never had 2 guests in the studio. In fact, prior to moving into the new studio, the only in-studio guest that I had was my mom.
Nice.
and I think that's it.
I guess we're breaking the cycle.
We are breaking the cycle. With me tonight are the hosts and co-hosts of the Black Flag podcast, Mr. Sam Whipplinger and Derek James. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
Fantastic.
I'm doing good.
You're looking good tonight. We got a new camera for the guest couch, so it's not. It's a little more crisp, a little more clear. We're gonna have to fix some lighting on there, but I think it's looking pretty good. What are you guys up to? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Sam pushed me to work today, so I made some money before we came here. I didn't expect that, so.
Nice.
I pushed him to come here too.
You did?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. I'm just gonna stare at you guys till you talk more. I need to hear you talking. It's you guys do look good. I'm finally getting the couch in over 24 megapixels, so that's good. We'll just work on the lighting and shit like that afterwards, and ISO and all that stuff. I just got the camera. I haven't really had time to fix with the settings too much. I did get it so that it's clean HDMI out, so they don't have like auto tracking all over their faces.
The main thing is we look good.
Like, you guys look good.
That's the important part. Like,
you always look good, Sam.
I mean, you're sitting sitting right in front of Jay Stark, and it says "Live free or fucking die." You're doing great. Bro. You know what I mean? You can't be mad when you're sitting in front of a Jay Stark poster.
You can't. It's impossible.
It's just impossible. Ryan didn't even know who Jay Stark was.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I still barely know.
Yeah, but now that you're Googling him, you'll know who he is. Right? Because you're Googling him. You're watching the documentaries that he taught. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, Jamie, can you Google that?
So, guys, why don't you tell us, before we get too far into this, why don't you guys Derek, why don't you start off and tell us about your podcast, what it's all about, and all that good stuff.
Well,
it's very serious.
When we do our podcast, we haven't done it in a while. But when we do our podcast, we talk about, I mean, eventually we're going to talk about libertarian stuff no matter what. Usually have libertarian guests on. But yeah, we talk about, I try to navigate the conversations to wherever they naturally go, but I don't like to just talk about libertarian stuff all the time. So I think the last guy that was on was an author, and we talked about like writing styles, because I used to do creative writing too. So that was kind of fun to get into like how different artists bring what's in their head to life and then how they feel about it once it's on the page. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But you've done, I mean, who?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the thing, is just find out like what interests people and what they're excited about. And, you know, especially like liberty people, I mean, you get a large array of like different thoughts, and it's just really fun to explore all that.
Yeah, my show started out as it was just going to be a liberty show. This was going to be a libertarian show. And then I was like, there's so many fucking libertarian shows out there.
There's such a niche where there's not enough, you know what I mean? Like supply and demand.
Yeah, like
we need more.
Yeah, if only libertarians understood supply and demand.
and it was like, you know, for me, I was like, I can't pigeonhole myself like that. First of all, I want to make it really pretty. That was obviously something that I cared about very much.
That's why I'm on.
Yeah. We brought Sam on because he's beautiful. Sam keeps getting the autofocus bar around his face, which I thought was cleaned up. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on.
I heard
there.
Sam was a hand model earlier in life.
Hand model? Yeah, you got nice hands, buddy? Is that something you got?
I mean, I play piano, but it's more the face is the moneymaker.
I have piano fingers, but I don't play piano.
Oh, okay, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I play bass and drums.
Bass is great too.
I'm the rhythm section man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
it's all about that bass.
It's all about the bass, right? Absolutely. How's the stream doing over there? Is it fucked?
Has
it turned green yet?
No, it never turned green like during the live stream.
Ask David Brady to rate his viewing experience so far.
Is my mic okay? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great, dude. I hear you in the mix. I hear everybody in the mix. The video looks good here on OBS. We're recording. We're 10 minutes into the show and recording.
Hell yeah.
I will drop the shit out of the bit rate before we go into the members only stream and hope that fixes the issue.
Nice.
If that doesn't fix the issue, well, then it's something else that we need to figure out.
We get to be in the members only section.
Yeah,
That's where we talk about all the cool stuff. Right?
That's where I got
not even
Tom
a
Woods.
member.
I got Tom Woods.
Where now?
I literally got Tom Woods to say the F word in the members only on here. So
No.
Nice.
Yeah. Somebody-
When was that? Was that like recently or?
no, that was quite a few shows ago.
Okay, because like
Yeah,
he
that
started
was-
swearing
That
a
was
lot
before
more.
I started watching.
Yeah, it was a lot.
He started swearing a lot more. Now it's like, okay, it's he swore again. But
Shout out to Jake Dahl for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you, man. Even especially
Hey, what's up, Jake?
especially because you probably can't see the stream and you're still dropping super chats. I appreciate
The
that.
top lobster logo is still on the screen.
on
on
yours?
this.
Oh, it's not on the OBS screen.
Jake Dahl
yeah.
is a fantastic candidate, by the way.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
running for
yeah.
city council.
He said he still needs to get his cup from the Patreon sub. I have been very bad about sending out mugs. They're coming, I promise you.
Just cancel it, Jake.
It
Don't
won't
worry
matter
about
if you can't. At this point, if you cancel, you're still getting your.
Don't worry, I ordered 3 shirts from our state party that I work for and still haven't gotten them yet. So you guys aren't doing too bad.
I have had some serious problems getting the swag out for the Patreon subscribers recently.
Is AJ watching?
So my dad got my wife and I well he originally got me a jersey from my favorite esports org for Christmas, and it was super delayed, and come July this year we finally get it.
Wow.
So they gave us his and hers jerseys, but they had released a whole new line of jerseys by the time they even shipped ours.
Yeah, I have a few people who got their Patreon mugs or shirts because some of the people there's like different tiers. There's like the Rothbard tier, you get a shirt and a mug.
Oh. Ooh, fancy.
And some of those people still have not got their shirts, but they've received their mugs. Some people didn't get their mug for like 6 months. But it's coming, I promise you. I use Top Lobster's merch people, and sometimes if I lag on it, then they lag on it too, and it just pushes it way out, and I apologize, but I will get you all your stuff. We need to talk about the CIA starting a podcast. That's something that we really need. We need to talk about this. Hi, we're starting a podcast to tell you what we're doing. That was like their whole argument about it. It was like, we want to be more transparent.
We had to burn those children because they were part of a cult, and that's just kind of what we had to do. They might have been making guns that we didn't approve of.
They may have been.
They may have.
I don't know. Practicing.
We
their
don't really
religion.
have evidence yet, but we blew the shit out of that door and killed a bunch of kids and burned them to death. But
don't blame us for.
If we didn't do that, think of how much danger
child
you'd be in.
prostitutes as bait. They were asking for it.
It just blows my mind. So let's do a thought experiment here. What do you think the CIA's first podcast episode is going to be about?
Well, I have some inside information I already know about this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
We're actually doing a hybrid episode of Black Flag Podcast. So we're going to be doing a hybrid Zoom episode, CIA and Black Flag Podcast together.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're gonna be interviewing them. They said to talk about someone not named Ray Epps, and
Shocking, fucking shocking. What do you think, Ryan? You got some inside knowledge of that? I've long suspected that you may be honeypotting me by getting on my show here, so we'll see about that.
Well, I used to work at Casey's, and everybody thought that I was some sort of undercover spy for corporate because I was like too much of a goody two shoes to be working at a Casey's. And then I later did go on to work for corporate.
My dude was slanging breakfast pizzas like nobody's business. He's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm the best breakfast pizza maker in the world."
Yeah, but I feel like it's gonna be basically like NPR, but like way more boring.
It's government funded for sure, so we know it's already like going to be NPR. But yeah, I mean they're essentially going to use their podcast to try and pull off shit like Operation Northwoods. I mean that's literally it's going to be total fucking misdirection.
Okay,
100%.
Remind me which one that one was. There's so many of them.
Oh, dude, hold on.
I'm not terribly familiar with the long list of CIA transgressions.
I'm gonna pull up the whole
So
fucking list.
So many.
what is Operation
Paperclip.
Northwood
dude.
specifically?
There's so many of these things.
Jack Lloyd actually had an amazing tweet about that. He just listed all of them.
I mean, it would take a couple of minutes just to name all of the color revolutions they've started.
Right?
What do you mean by that?
Like Ukraine, I think they tried in Cuba, Haiti, like where they basically arm and train insurgent civilian population to overthrow the government.
What they've been doing
to install a more American-friendly regime. I think they did it in Iran. They were essentially doing it in Afghanistan.
They've been doing this in the Middle East for 70 years. Dude.
They fight terror over there, so we don't have to fight it.
Yeah, dude. Do you want to? Yeah. Don't. Hey, listen.
Freedom ain't free.
Don't be a dick, dude. Do you want to fight terror here, or do you want to fight it over there in the against sheep farmers and shit? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I would try and fight terror here, but they would throw me in a cage for it.
Yeah, because it'd have to be against your own government, right?
Yeah.
No. So Operation Northwoods was I don't remember the exact year, but it was essentially the CIA was pushing to do a false flag on America.
No way.
In the name of Cuba. So that we could go to war with Cuba.
Oh, right. Yes, this is all ringing bells now.
And this is the one that JFK was like. JFK was like absolutely
it's the reason why it's the reason why they killed JFK, right?
Well, that's alleged. Okay, we're on YouTube here, bro.
Isn't it pretty much confirmed by declassified documents that the CIA was responsible for JFK's death?
I don't know.
Because it was like the guy that shot him was like involved in MK Ultra and all sorts of other shady shit.
Well, so they say that what's his name killed him, Oswald. Is that it?
Yeah,
but
John Wilkes Booth, I think.
John Wilkes Booth killed Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's Lee Harvey.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah,
my hero.
I was thinking Norman Oswald, but that's the Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
Yes, or Patton Oswald, the really shitty comedian.
Okay.
Yeah. No. So Lee Harvey Oswald. There was never any literal proof that his shot killed JFK, but there is a ton of speculation that there was
a hole in a president.
There's a hole in the president, and there was speculation that there was like 7 different shots that rang out at the same time. There was people that talked about that. In fact, Jacob Hornberger has written 2 books about the JFK conspiracy. And you guys should definitely check out those books.
No way.
I don't know the name of them. He's like an expert on that shit.
Wow.
On my honeymoon, we actually drove on the same road where JFK got shot.
Oh, down in Dallas.
Yeah, down in Dallas.
Yeah.
There was the JFK Museum, and I elected not to go because I was like, this is going to be a bunch of bullshit propaganda about like JFK just being like incredible and how the CIA had nothing to do with his killing. And I was like, I don't want to experience that. I want to go do cool shit.
Well, yeah. So the list of false flags and shitty backhanded operations that the CIA has been a part of is long and exhaustive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just the CIA either. We have to think about it. There's literally senators, Congress people, presidents, all implicated in documents that have been, declassified. Of course, they don't declassify anything for like 50 years.
Yeah.
So by the time it's declassified and people that were like back then saying, this is all a conspiracy, this is bad shit. The people that were saying that back then are either invalid or dead.
Yeah. And then the people involved get elected president.
Yeah, that too. Absolutely. Or the head of the CIA or some committee chief that's how that works. And so now we're going to have a fucking podcast where they can tell us what to think. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be people in America that listen to that podcast and go, yeah, man, the fucking CIA is telling me the truth right now all the time.
My grandpa would be one of those people.
Oh, Jesus.
This will be the podcast. They'll be like, and today in the podcast, some words.
Yeah.
Some more words. They're just like reading the declassified stuff.
Yeah. It's like they're reading documents, but they have to like take pauses for everything redacted. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, those shit that I didn't even think about, all the fucking redacted shit that always comes out of Washington and the CIA and fucking.
Did you see the like document that they were like, oh yeah, this is the warrant to raid Mar-a-Lago. And it was like 4 words. It was like, come on.
Talking about redacted stuff, you know what I found is crazy? So I've been trying to do more like local candidate type stuff and support for local politics in Mankato.
Sure.
And there's a woman that is in our local affiliate who does like data requests on the school board. It's like, what are you teaching the kids?
Right.
And they'll be like, oh, we don't have anything like that. And then so she'll try, because they change the words of the policies when they go to different school boards and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to find. So she finally figured out how to do the data request on the racial things that they're teaching kids in the school. And she finally found it, got the correct one, requested it, sent it back. Or I guess I should say, I did it. I did the data request. Mm-hmm. No one told me to do it. I did it independently. Anyways, it came back, and I'm not kidding. It was worse than an FBI file with the stuff that was redacted of what they're teaching kids in school. So we're data requesting what they're teaching kids in school, and they're sending us back like 7 PDFs with just the same thing. It's like the top of it, black, title at the bottom, black, a picture on the side, and that's it.
Yeah, you're not entitled to know what your child is learning in public school anymore.
I just thought that was crazy because most people don't know about stuff like that. The stuff that happens at a federal level with politics and the corruption and the misinformation, all that stuff, it's happening in your small little town too.
And that's wild because I we got a new superintendent when I was in high school. I was one of the students selected to be a part of the interview process for selecting candidates. And then my mom ended up becoming good friends with the superintendent. So she had the inside on everything. And I grew up in a town of about 6,000 people. But
here in Iowa.
Yeah, here in Iowa. But I don't. Yeah, but I don't know if you could do that. So, like in a much bigger town, like in Des Moines, I wouldn't be able to do that with my kids. And there was a video that came out a couple of months that basically administrators in Des Moines schools were like, yeah, we're gonna teach kids critical race theory, even if it is made illegal. We're gonna find a different name for it. We're gonna find a way around it.
That's what
and
they do.
We're going to do it.
They change what it's called so that when you go to do a data request for it, they can't find it. There's nothing for them to submit back to you. It's kind of crazy. I don't mean to change the subject.
No, it's okay. We needed a subject change anyways. I didn't want to beat on the CIA too bad.
Okay.
They might beat back.
We don't want to get banned.
Right. Well, it's crazy how the corruption even happens at a small level like that. So there's a guy running for school board who is friends with all these business owners. He's a business owner. So he's telling all these business owners that they'll get special seats on committees if they let him put his school board signs in these like really good places where, you know, tons of people drive by all the time. So that his name is associated with successful local companies that people like to go to. They're going to get seats on committees for the school board. And he's just running for school board. It's just a school board. But the corruption has already started. So it's like, if this guy will likely get elected, if he starts climbing, he's going to be someone that you're going to want to watch for every step of the way because he's going to be up to no good from the jump, you know?
Purposely up to no good.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I was shocked when they actually outlawed CRT here in the state.
Nice.
And all of a sudden the teachers were like, "We don't give a shit. We don't fucking care. We're still gonna teach it and this and that."
Yeah.
Really, just in Des Moines proper, right? Like that's not happening in our kids' school right now. Like we have 2 kids that, you know, the kids that we took in, we like have to have in public school right now. And they come home and I ask them everything they learned every day. And I want to know, like, famously, we talked about it on the podcast one time, my son came home and said, "Hey, Dad, we're learning about the Civil War. It was all about slavery, huh?" I said, "Son, sit down. Yeah. Let's have a conversation about the Civil War." I said, "Hey, by any chance, do you know when the Emancipation Proclamation was made?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, this date, blah, 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 blah. Hey, you know when the Civil War started?" "Oh, yeah. Almost seems like maybe they freed the slaves up north because they needed them for war, huh?" He's like, "Huh, yeah, it kind of does." And so we had this whole conversation, and now he's like reading Tom Wood's history book. And
yeah, that's Tom Wood's politically incorrect guide to American history is just an incredible and eye-opening book.
Yeah. I don't know. Tom doesn't talk to me anymore. He used to be my good friend. He doesn't talk to me anymore.
Why is that?
I don't know. Him and Dave used to talk to me all the time. They don't talk to me anymore.
He liked Eric Rodsep, didn't he?
No, hell no. I would hope not. If any of those guys, listen. If any of those guys had actually broken into Eric Rodcep's like policy shit, they would have been laughing hysterically. It was terrible. And like, so I have a good friend from South Carolina who was like passing me all this stuff while I was running for vice chair, and he's sending me all this policy stuff that I didn't even know about Eric, because I had actually whipped the floor for Eric to become an at-large the term before.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like, oh, he's a reasonable guy. He's nice. He's not terribly mean to the caucus, but he's not really a caucus member. But that's okay. You know, we didn't have a full slate that year, so it's okay. Then he got on the board and voted for Valerie Sarwark, #1, to be part of the APRC. And I started looking into his policy, and his policy was like, oh yeah, we need to tax the marijuana industry, and you know, well, we need to enforce the gun laws we have today to find out if we need to expand gun laws in America. And it was just like, holy shit, dude, this is fucking terrible stuff. He's like, well, I have to meet people where they're at. And I'm like, you're in North Carolina, dude.
Right.
You're fucking North Carolina of all places, and you're telling me that you're meeting people where they're at when it comes to gun laws? I doubt it, dude. I really doubt it. Outside of fucking Charlotte, I doubt it. You know what I mean? And so, but there was a ton of other shit too. We must stand with BLM, and you know how I feel about fucking communist organizations and this and that. And so I went in hard on his policy. I like Eric as a person. He's a nice guy, dude.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And he's reasonable, and you know, I love him to death. His policy was shit. If he had anything to do with messaging, it would have been horrible. And of course, you know, the other side of that aisle is like, well, you know, your guys' messaging sucks. And I'm like, our messaging has fucking brought us a lot of eyes. Maybe it's not all good, but it's pretty cool. I don't know. What do you guys think about the direction of the Libertarian Party recently?
Sam has comments on messaging.
I'll keep that to myself.
Did it not go far enough, or did it go too far?
Oh, it went too far,
Oh,
for sure.
Jesus, here we go.
Well, we kind of supported the LPNH tweets a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about that?
I love LPN. First of all, you know,
What
that
about-
Reed
what?
Coverdale's one of my bros, like he's one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah.
And he's running LPNH's communications. Okay. Although when all that shit started coming out, I made a post that said I'm actually the social media director for LPNH. Just because I was like, because everyone's like, oh, Angela, what do you think about this? And Josh, what do you think about this? And blah 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 blah. Everyone's losing their shit, and I'm just like, oh god. You know what? I'm actually the social media coordinator for LPNH. So I don't know what the fuck you're asking me for. I don't care. And I think on our first, we did a test episode here in the studio, and we had this talk, and I said directly, dude, I went through the Iraq War, 9/11, COVID, all this shit, and it literally brought me to a place where I don't give a fuck what LPNH like posts anymore. Like I just don't care. Like I'm so I've come to realize, like I said, I've come to realize that we're the bad guys. Okay. This country, we're the bad guys,
right?
And we're fucking up the world all over the place. I mean, hundreds of countries. Okay, I don't care what LPNH tweets. Fuck the McCain family; they suck. Right, all of them, including Megan, including that pork chop, especially that pork chop. And I didn't care about the 6 million tweet either. Like, it didn't bother me fucking at all, dude.
What's a 6 million?
I didn't
tweet?
even.
You don't know the 6 million tweet? Okay,
no,
so
I'm
they
not on
tweeted
Twitter.
this
I hear
out.
about everything from
Is that the one that you thought went too far, or was it the Megan McCain one?
I don't think either of them went too well. Probably the 6 million one, because it didn't make sense. It didn't bother me, but I'm like, you know,
I understood what he was trying to do.
It took me like a week to understand why people were upset about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you people can kind of fucking get over it. It was more like it was an arbitrary number, essentially. Like, if we're gonna raise the minimum wage, what point does any of it have? And then it was like, we're gonna put a certain number to try and get people upset, so they about it and spread it as much as possible.
I'm kind of ambiguous. I can kind of see both sides of it, but like the people that are upset about it are the ones that really bother me. The people that are like, no, this is clearly wrong. It's like, no, it's not clearly wrong. Like, we just had Trump, who was basically a third party candidate.
Well, he ran like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no one... His own,
he shitposted
the Republicans
his
didn't
office.
like him. The Democrats didn't like him.
Twitter got exponentially worse when they kicked Trump off, by the way. I'm not a Trump supporter, but man, was he fun to watch on Twitter, dude.
Yeah, dude, the guy was nuts on Twitter. He did all the wrong things.
Remember when he just...
I keep telling people, they don't want someone respectable. The value of respectability has gone way down. The value of someone who will fight for you and fight for your values has gone way up. They want someone who will fight for them. And I think
decorum does not fucking matter anymore.
No, decorum does not matter. And like New Hampshire, like that's what they're going for. They're going like, we are going to fight. We are going to fight for, on our Twitter, we're going to say ridiculously, well, it's not ridiculous, just hardcore things. We're not going to pretend to care about Meghan McCain crying over her father. He was a monster, and she's advocating for the same stuff he is.
Yeah, fuck Porkchop McCain. That's all. I just want to make that. I don't know if I've made it that clear.
I 100% agree. Fuck Meghan McCain, but where I draw the line is
like I hope she
mocking people for going through human
life,
experiences, because what we don't want to lose in all the battle and everything is our humanity. And I felt like that clearly was crossing a line for someone who is, even though they're one of the worst members of humanity, they still are human. And we don't want to mock people for those shared experiences, because those are the only ways we can connect with people.
To be fair, the tweet was clearly about John McCain. But I agree with you. That's why I said
the picture wasn't, and that was the only thing.
If it just would have been a picture
about herself, because she kept retweeting it and making it about herself, and like, oh, I'm a victim, blah blah blah. Which she could spin it that way and make it work, but it's kind of true.
Yeah,
and I get what you're saying.
If it would have just been a picture of John McCain in his casket with no one else in it, I probably wouldn't have nearly as strong of an objection.
God,
I would have a minor objection, but.
That picture makes me so giddy that I have a hard time. Like if I was looking at it right now, I'd have a hard time having this conversation because I start laughing. It brings me. I know, like, I get what you're saying, right? Mm-hmm. And I try to, I go to church on Sundays and I try to teach my kids to be honest and people to be respectful and kind and all that stuff, right? But like when you do this, when the stuff that they do and they advocate for, and then the fact that it's even on her radar just makes me giddy and happy. I'm like, oh, the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire is pissing off the token Republican from The View or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that's hilarious to me, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know, for me it's like, and maybe it's because I'm not on I don't do any public face stuff for the party. Right. And I don't really want to, right?
You are the Mises Caucus state coordinator for
right. I like
Minnesota,
that.
Right?
Yeah, and that's where I've kind of put myself in a position too where people know in the state where I'm at.
Right.
Like I've shown my hand pretty openly. We have Bindergate, for example, from our convention.
I was there, buddy.
Yeah,
I remember.
They found our binder and all that stuff. But anyways,
Bindergate.
Yeah, our slate was in a binder and they found it and everybody started freaking out.
You did, huh? You did. That's probably it.
Me?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think anyone else cared.
My favorite was
we had a slate because we're a caucus, so we had people who we endorsed, and people called it the shadow. We had a shadow. We all met together before the convention. And someone called it the shadow convention. So I've been referring to us as the shadow ever since.
I want to just be. I'll
just text someone. I'll be like, the shadow.
And if the party wants to be a fully completed party, it needs to integrate its shadow.
Well, I want to be clear about something before we go any further. I've been in the Libertarian Party since I've been working in leadership in the Libertarian Party since 2015. Okay,
nice.
The whole party always understood what caucuses were for. Always. For years.
It's
okay.
Collectivist.
There was the audacious caucus. There was the radical caucus. There was the fucking alcoholic caucus. There was all these caucuses, and they all had their own little mission and goal in the party, and everyone was fine with it until the Mises Caucus started winning. Right. And then they're like, why would you need to organize like that?
I'm against caucuses.
Why would you need to help people get to convention like that?
This is the argument
and
I
now
hate.
The classical liberal caucus is probably going to just gather all those people.
Those guys are a fucking CIA honeypot. They're probably part of the CIA.
They're probably on the podcast.
Yeah. I hate those fucking guys so much. You know why? I wouldn't mind them. Okay, listen, I'm not a big fan of classical liberalism anymore. It's no secret that I've veered a little harder right these days, just a little bit, just a tad. But I wouldn't hate those guys at all. I'd be like, yeah, fucking get your shit on, go,
Right.
go. But they built their entire identity around, we're gonna fuck up the Mises Caucus. Those guys are all Nazis, and it's
Which
like, bro,
I think is great. Like if if you can get together and fight the Mises Caucus, like I say, bring it. Let's just all get a little bit better and grow. Like I think that's awesome.
Competition is good.
Yeah.
well, I think they're a bunch of fucking nerds, and I've been very clear about
Okay,
that.
let's
They're
be
not-
honest. Anyone
we're
in
the
the
better
Libertarian
nerds.
Party is a fucking nerd. Because you have to have read
Speak for
economics to be a
yourself, nerd.
libertarian.
We understand
well,
economics.
and they-
Apparently,
this
that's nerdism.
This is what I think is goofy too. Is they say like there's a local candidate who I found out was running and I didn't know about, and I'm trying to get people in the state to get excited about our local candidates because everybody's disappointed. We don't have statewide candidates, and it sucks. And it's a whole debacle. And the Minnesota convention thing's a whole thing, right? And I'm not trying to rehash everything, right? But basically, I'm trying to get people to be excited about the candidates we have, so I'm making a list. One guy I find out is running for city council that I didn't know about, so I'm like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, well, the Mises Caucus, the board is endorsing local candidates, right? So I was like, oh, maybe if he's down with the Mises Caucus, we can have some conversations and maybe we can, if he's a Mises type person, we could get him endorsed. So I started having a conversation, asking him how he felt, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the argument that some of these people have is that having a slate and organizing as a collective and having an agenda and getting things done like in that way is, they say, antithetical to libertarianism because it's antithetical to the individual because it's a collective organization. And I'm like, what the fuck is the Libertarian Party? It's a
you have to
collective
have
organization
some,
of individuals trying to move together, mobilize organizationally as a group for a purpose and a goal.
Yeah, you have to
can't
have
accuse
some
the Mises
like
Caucus of being-
collectivism to reach that individualism. It's an oxymoron.
How can you be a libertarian nerd and not understand that people can work?
Again, speak for yourself.
You can work towards a common goal while still being individuals. You
When
just
you guys
have
go,
to.
when you guys go
voluntary
call Maj Touré a nerd, please. I want to
You
see,
have
what,
a
I wanna see
Duke-
what happens.
You have a
It's
Duke Nukem
voluntary
picture.
association. How does a libertarian not understand that? Like
Right.
we're voluntarily associating and organizing, working together. This is pure libertarianism. This is the values we fight for.
Well, and to bring it back to what we were saying too about the LP.
Unless you're from the other caucus, then of course it's evil.
You guys might have to give me a history lesson on classic liberalism because I have what my understanding of it, and I don't see a problem with it from my understanding. So maybe my perspective needs to be shifted. But I did want to go real quick, if I could go back to that LPMNH tweet, LPNH
New Hampshire
whatever
tweet, yeah.
tweet. Yeah. So to me, it brought me a lot of joy, and I think that when certain people from the LPMN Twitter were kind of celebrating that tweet, I thought it was great, and then people are having some arguments about it, and I think I've shown my hand too much as the Mises Caucus guy, that they don't necessarily think that I take the other people's perspective into consideration or that I have nuanced opinions. So I can't really speak on matters. I just get ignored, I think, or argued against. And I think it's because I've shown my hand too much that I'm like, I'm all Mises. That's what I am. Like, that's why I'm here.
Well, it's not even a Mises tweet. Like, they're just Mises people that were like all for it. There's Mises people that weren't for it, and there's
But there's
everyone
just
in between.
But the people who hated it the most are the ones who just hate us and anything that we do.
I mean, that's true.
I got you guys. I just want everyone watching this to know that I had ordered a dummy battery for the couch camera because we got a new camera, and it was supposed to be here between 7:30 and 8:45. So we were running on just the regular battery, hoping that would show up during the show. We got down to 1% on the battery, and I just put in the dummy battery.
We
Now
are
we're-
the
now we're good.
1%.
So you texted the guy and told him you were going to give him $20.
No, he just showed up right fucking
That's
on
why
time,
I was
dude.
talking, by the way. Nothing I said was important. I was just trying to fill in for when Josh got back.
He was trying to stop me from talking about Israel.
Oh, sorry about that.
Who's talking about you? Listen, you can't be mad at the 6 million tweet and then talking about Israel.
I'm not. Yeah, it didn't have a point. I wasn't mad about it.
I think it did. Because here, so there's
Read it to me again.
it said $6 million minimum wage or you're anti-Semitic.
That's actually a really
It was
good
a fucking
tweet.
dope tweet. Everybody's like,
tweet.
oh, and everyone's like, oh, dude, that's so anti-Semitic. And of course, only the people that hate us were like, oh, it's so anti-Semitic. I'm like, no, do you not understand that people use their victimhood?
You won me over.
Push
I like
bad
it.
policy, and that was the whole point of the post. Was it edgy? Yes, it was fucking edgy. Was
Hell
it
yeah.
anti-Semitic? No, it wasn't anti-Semitic. It was showing that people use their victimhood to push bad policy.
See, where people got anti-Semitic from is they thought
6
it was
million people died in the Holocaust.
yeah, they thought it was Holocaust denial.
But it wasn't. It was. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm good. Listen, I'm good friends with Reed.
I think it was at least 6,000 or 6,000,001. So.
At least 6,000.
Seems a little high, buddy. No, I'm good friends with Reed Coverdale. Okay,
Seems a little high.
he is hard on Israel. I am also hard on Israel. Having Israeli family members, I'm hard on Israel. Okay.
Oh wow.
Having people that I know that are my family members that live in Israel, I'm hard on Israel. My family members that are from Israel are hard on Israel. I'm sure they're anti-Zionist. I'm an anti-Zionist. I think that the state of Israel is an apartheid state, and it's fucking racist, and it's ethno-nationalist, and I don't support that shit.
I mean,
so
if
I
you're
say
Jewish,
that,
though, you should have the right to someone else's property. I mean,
yeah, especially the Palestinians, because they were there first. But who cares?
Are you a Christian?
I am a Christian. I'm bordering on orthodoxy at this point.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here's my question, because I've been curious about what people think about this from a Christian perspective, because I have a Christian friend who's more of a conservative guy who feels like we have to do everything to.
He has a Christian friend. Okay,
I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian.
I'm just kidding.
I go to multiple different denomination churches. Well, I should say I try to be a
he's a
Christian.
trans Christian.
I try. But no, so I'm just kind of curious what people like. How do you have a discussion with someone who thinks that it's like the promised land of God and we need to help the Jewish people with force maintain that border?
Just remind them that Moloch's temple's there, bro. You know what I mean? I honestly don't know.
Do you get what my question is?
Yeah,
though?
no, I get it. And it is Christians that constantly simp for
Right.
the Zionist state of Israel. Okay?
Didn't the Jews like lose their lineage though that are moving back there? They're just kind of like claiming it as
yeah,
like,
so
they can't.
it's
It's not like they
all-
can
it's
trace
just-
it back and say this is we're Jewish, we're moving back to our homeland. It's not like they can trace it back. Like these are white New York Jews, is what. Like
well,
Brian Dawson would
it's not
say.
just white New York Jews either. I mean, we're talking about Russian Jews, Polish Jews. I mean, there's Ashkenazi. They're all over the world claiming that.
Yeah.
And all over the Middle East, all over Europe,
And the people they're kicking out, they probably were converted from Judaism to like Islamism or
the Palestinians. I mean,
a lot of them.
lived there before the Jews did. For sure. I mean, there's no doubt
It's not
about
like
that.
every single Jew just left. Like a lot of them just changed their beliefs. And
Right.
stuff
But
like that.
but here's my thing. It's just so wild to me that anytime you bring up it being a Zionist, ethno-nationalist, apartheid state, you're automatically labeled anti-Semitic.
yeah, and
Which is just not. It couldn't be further for the truth. It'd be like me saying that the American government is a fascistic, corporatocracy, which it is, and then someone going, "Oh, you know what? You're a racist against black people." Like it doesn't make any fucking sense
Right.
at all.
But because of the Holocaust and all those things that happened, and like they can kind of hide behind that.
Sure.
And they that's what they do, and that's kind of what the New Hampshire tweet kind of broke. I mean,
That's
these
exactly what it showed.
politicians hide behind the fact that no, we're politicians, we're just good people, blah blah blah, and they just broke that. They went after them, and so now people are researching and being like, well, is he was he a mass killer or not? Like, is it proper for them to go after him or not? And so,
When we have
Reed Coverdale, because he's a mass murderer for sure. There's no doubt about it.
oh yeah,
No, it's
Sam
it's
is
true.
that
also-
guy.
Sam
I met
is
him in
also-
real life, and I was like, okay, I see why they call
Well,
you
and
the
I think-
homeless dude.
And I think that's listen. I don't deny the Holocaust at all. I know the Holocaust happened. I have friends.
what was
that
the
have-
number?
I don't know.
Come on.
Yeah.
all
Here's the
speculation.
thing.
Yes.
It's all
I don't-
speculation.
I don't think
Speculation.
I don't think we
Speculation.
I don't think we know, and I don't think we can know. I'm reading a book right now called Ordinary Men, and
Heard of that one.
they're going over individual instances of like mass killing of Jews, and they don't have definitive numbers on each instance.
Right.
You're racist.
So they have a relative range, but it's like they didn't keep perfect track of all of that. We know it's a shit ton, and we know it's awful, and we don't need to know the specific number, because once you reach 3, it's pretty fucking awful, and we reached several million.
Well, and here's when you guys
It's not like our mind can differentiate between the two, being like, well, this one's
what's the difference
50% more awful
between
than this one?
5 million and 7 million?
Yeah, it's not. Our brain can't comprehend the difference.
Yeah.
you guys start talking about this is like, oh, I understand how people start being like, the Jews are running thing and taking over, and we have to be careful.
I mean, we have one running this podcast.
I understand. I start to go, oh, this is how people start to go down the path.
Well, no,
where they start to go to Looneyville, because what we're saying is all good and true, right?
Right.
But what I'm saying is, like, people start putting these together, and then you start thinking, well, maybe they're weaving the narrative of all that stuff together so that the state can convince us as citizens of their state to support another state who's doing horrible things. You start seeing like maybe there's like a weaving going on of the narratives.
I think here, let me explain this. Okay, so I started off with saying that I think the Holocaust happened, and I think a lot of people died in the Holocaust, and I think it was really bad, and I think the Nazis were bad people. The majority were bad people. I think there was a lot of people that were useful idiots and duped into believing that they needed a strong man.
A lot of people were forced into everything.
Yeah. Now, but I can see. And I'm not gonna make the mistake of doing what Dave Smith did and be like, I empathize with the alt-right. Okay.
He did.
But he did.
What?
Okay.
That
He
was
said
great.
that. He said that when he had Nick Fuentes on, and everyone lost their shit. And I empathize with the alt-right. That's all he said. That's it. And they fucking lost it. But I will say that I can see how some of this stuff comes about. When you already have some theories about media or banks or any of this shit.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah, you start putting it all together.
Yes, and then if you question any of that, or you question the Zionist state of Israel, or apartheid, or any of that stuff, and you're immediately labeled as an anti-Semite and all this other things that you're not even allowed to discuss those things, then it pushes you to a point where you're like, okay, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
This
There's
and that.
such
How
a
about this and
visceral
that and this and that?
reaction.
Yes.
They must be protecting something.
Right.
And
There's
most people-
something they don't want me to know, when it's just like, no, they just have like delicate sensibilities.
I understand how people can start going down that path and go super into that anti-Semitic stuff.
Right.
It makes
Yeah.
sense to me because you start putting it all together, and then you're like, oh.
Because the more, like with COVID, the more they screeched about the vaccines, you couldn't catch it or spread it, and all of this bullshit, and they screeched every time, like you tried to say, hey, here's this study that says this or whatnot. It made you want to push back harder and harder and harder,
Right.
and
It galvanizes you.
yeah, the moment you would even question anything, because it's like about the Holocaust, it's like, oh, these are a bunch of state accounts that like we got taught
Ryan
this in
Ryan
history
is getting
class.
so red-pilled right now. I'm gonna start calling him Ryan Dawson soon.
We got taught this in history class, and so
Ian
much
Dawson.
of everything else that I've been taught in history class was a bunch of bullshit. So why shouldn't I believe this is bullshit? Well, there's so many firsthand documents and firsthand accounts of everything.
I believe that
but that's not out there.
I believe there's evidence that the Holocaust happened, and I'm not a Holocaust denier at all.
Yeah.
And I don't even and I'm I don't take it even far enough to where I even question the official number. I just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that it was bad that it happened, and we should remember it as history that was bad. Okay, I believe that.
And then we should pay attention to what led to it, so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I echo that too. I think even saying like, oh, they're bad people and they're duped into it and they were terrorized and all that stuff, all of that's true. But I think that can actually open up space for you to end up as a person or a society go back to it. Remembering like Jordan Peterson always talks about, it's inside of you. The Satan or the devil or the tyrant or the dictator is inside of you too.
Yeah, that, and like the reason I'm reading Ordinary Men is because Jordan Peterson recommended it. He said, if you ever want to understand how average people, slaughtered their countrymen in mass, read this book. And like it's kind of brilliant because when somebody said they didn't have the nerve to, go murder a bunch of innocent people, they were shown compassion, which is terrifying because it was like, oh yeah, okay, we'll find something else for you to do. I don't want to kill these people. Okay, you'll go over here. And so they didn't ostracize them a bunch. It wasn't like, oh, you're fucking weak and pathetic and you don't deserve to call yourself a German. It was, which is kind of what you would have expected. And that's what I thought went down.
We're
Yeah, I don't know.
We're
I don't know
talking
much
about the Holocaust right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Holocaust and Jews, and I don't know. Hey, listen. We bring Derek James on the podcast, and this is where we go. Go fucking figure, dude. No,
The challenge with all this is like there's no complexity of thought. So like if anytime it's just like the Ukraine stuff. It's like, yeah, we support Ukraine. Like we don't want them being invaded and all this stuff, but like we can't just say just that because
why not?
There's just a lot more to it. Because
but the average person, that's all they need to say.
If you just say that, then they don't even wait to say, well, I wonder if the public's going to approve of us sending them billions of dollars. They just go, well, of course they're going to approve of us sending them billions of dollars because those poor Ukrainians. So it's very hard, especially like messaging on Twitter and all these different places, to be like, well, how do we put the full thought in there and put it in this tiny little package for people to really comprehend?
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, we feel really bad for the Ukrainian people. We feel really bad for the Russian people. Maybe we should stop funding their state governments, sending people to the slaughter.
I just want to be clear that I feel really bad for the victims of these endless wars in every country.
Yeah.
And not
That's
at
what's
all
terrifying.
for the McCain family at all.
Yeah, exactly. And well, since we're on that tweet again, it's like people saw that tweet, they saw like one person weeping over their father, and just because it's not the perfect visual, they didn't see like the millions who were weeping over their children, who like the millions of kids who had died, the millions of parents who had died.
Like it
All
would have
those
been a lot
people.
sweeter. I'll tell you, I would have liked to have a much more gruesome photo of Madeleine Albright. You know what I'm saying?
So I was going to say too, like someone was talking earlier, one of you guys were talking about how we want someone to fight. The respectability thing goes down. You want someone to fight for you goes up, right? And you made me realize like that's how I feel about that tweet, right? And I'm not even really on Twitter, but that's how I feel. I see that and I'm like, fuck the respectability. Someone's saying what I feel, which is like, you people are sick. You're monsters. You're blood-soaked monsters.
Fucking monsters.
You're horrible people.
Well, it's
And
even
so
like Alex Stein.
Then I get excited, like yes, someone's standing up for me and my opinion. You know what I mean?
That's what every person climbing the ladder is doing. The respectability isn't what's growing. It's always just the fact that they'll fight for you. I mean, like even DeSantis, who's a pretty respectable, has that respectable air about him.
He's found a good blend.
He has, yeah, but he's still pulling like stunts and like doing things that are very just
outrageous
that say, yes, I will fight for you. This is important to me. I'm gonna take a bus and send those people to Martha Vineyard.
We had a whole segment. We talked about that on this show a lot. It was we had Clint on and we were talking about it.
I'm a full open borders guy, but that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
and then there was, I think it was the Pacific put out a headline the next day that was like rich white liberal people forced to integrate with dirty poor immigrants for the first time, and then the quotations were like, it's not that bad.
I think there's a movement of people trying to find like a Florida prosecutor who will charge DeSantis with human trafficking.
I would love to see that.
I like how they were like, we didn't ship them off. We just like sent them to a better place where they blah 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 blah. And they're like, dude, you literally shipped them. Like they went. I think someone said they literally went on a ship. Is that correct?
No, it was a plane.
Bus. A plane?
I thought it was an
Plane to Martha's Vineyard, and
That's
then
not as
there were
funny.
other places. A couple busloads. Kamala Harris's doorstep. That's where a busload went. A couple busloads.
Oh,
I
yeah,
still
they did
think it
send
counts
some
as
to Kamala.
shipping, right? You drive a truck, it's shipping. Right?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. He's just the greatest
shipped them off.
coyote of all time.
Well, here's the
Literally.
thing: is the left and the Democrats and all them they're so bad at politics because what you have this moment where this guy's being celebrated by his constituency for what he's doing, and their reaction is, oh, we need to vilify him and charge him, and they don't realize that anybody who's left who's not in his constituency that leans that way is you're going to push them into his camp by trying to vilify him and charge them. Like, why would you do that to the, you know what I mean? Like,
it's the same thing that happened with Donald Trump, dude.
I know,
It's
but-
exactly
Dude,
the same.
yeah, he tweets something.
It's the
The
populism.
left doesn't need to be good at politics anymore because they've mastered moral indignation.
Well, no, here's the thing, dude.
Where you can be a horrible
antidote.
person and feel good about it.
I've talked
have,
about this a
you're
lot.
on the
Like,
moral right.
What destroys
populism is important today. Okay, and for those of you who don't know what populism is, it's relating your political policy around the fears of people. That's all it is. That's all populism is, right? And it's been used in politics for years and years and years, but no one had mastered it. No one had ever mastered it the way that Donald Trump did. Okay, there's no way. And now there's another. And it's Ron DeSantis. He's using populism. And I don't necessarily think populism is a bad thing, okay? It's a terrible, dirty word in the Libertarian Party. You're not allowed to use populism, but...
It's great if you're popular. Like, that's kind of what we want our ideas to do.
Yeah, you want to be popular, and you need to, it's for all these fucking milquetoast libertarian candidates that are like, oh, we got to meet people where they are. What the fuck do you think populism is, dude? It's meeting people where they are. It's giving them like tangible policy.
No, not those people.
Yeah, not those people. But it's giving them tangible policy that alleviates their fears of society. Okay? Yeah. And that's what fucking populism is. And nobody did it as good as Donald Trump did. Mm-hmm. And now Ron DeSantis is doing well. And I think that if he ran for president, it's likely that he could win because of that.
If Donald Trump was more classy, he wouldn't have won. Like that was the key to him winning, was he would say stupid things. He would trip over himself. And then the left and the media would trip over himself so much more that he actually looked good.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you could have run a sack of potatoes against Hillary Clinton and won. Trump won because Hillary Clinton was the worst candidate ever to run for president. She was
for that.
awful on everything.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because I like this was when I was first getting into politics, was that race, and I'd never like Dave Smith and everyone talks about how bad Hillary is and how bad she is at like communicating, and she's just awful. I never really felt that. I thought she seemed like a respectable person. I obviously knew she was a terrible with all the emails deleted and all that.
Oh, you're talking about Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
Oh, dude, that hurts my balls real bad.
I'm just saying, as
the
a
Democrats had
semi-normie
to
at the time,
cheat
she did not seem that bad. She seemed
in their
presidential.
own primaries in order to get her elected. Because Bernie Sanders, the Democrats had to cheat in order to get her on the ticket, because Bernie Sanders was way more popular. Because Bernie Sanders actually is somewhat principled.
They did the same thing they did to Ron Paul. I mean,
yeah.
Republicans did
I mean,
Ron Paul.
I totally get all that for sure.
Now, because if you didn't, you got to leave, dude.
saying Bernie is principled makes my balls hurt.
Yeah.
He's somewhat principled. Out of all the Democrats, he's the most principled.
Here, he does have principles. They're just communist principles.
Yeah.
They're dog shit principles, but he sticks by them.
Right,
somewhat,
but then also
yeah.
he pushes for policy that's supposedly going to redistribute wealth, but is actually a wealth transfer
course.
from the poor
Of
to the
course,
rich. So that's
that's
what I mean.
And I want to say
that's kind of an
hold on.
unintended
Ryan, shut up.
consequence.
Jesus Christ! Let somebody else talk.
He wasn't John Kerry. Let's put it that way.
No, here's the deal. Bernie Sanders, I don't know if he's purposely doing it or if he's just too fucking stupid to understand what he's doing. Honest to God. I really feel that way about Bernie Sanders.
He
dude.
might be, yeah.
And I met the guy on an airplane.
Oh yeah, that's right. I saw you posting about
I met him on the
that's
airplane.
great.
I was wearing my fucking physical removal shirt from hobby.org. And we were delayed as fuck, dude. Like super delayed. I think that was on our way to DC for the LNC meeting.
Did you convert him?
Fuck no, dude. He was sitting right next to the emergency exit, though. Got a little couple tinges there, but no. One lady was like losing her shit. She's like, "Oh my God, it's Bernie Sanders! I gotta say hi to Mr. Bernie, Senator." All this shit. And so we're all sitting. Everyone's seated. The doors are all closed. It's quiet. It was a late flight. And this was I think this was from Detroit to DC.
Which house was he going to?
He was going to DC.
Okay.
He was on his way to DC from fucking Detroit. So I don't know if he was on a layover or what, but I was on my layover and we're delayed. And so she gets up and runs over there and takes a picture with him and then sits back down. And everybody else is like, oh my God, it's Bernie Sanders. Oh my God, And so I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to get up and take a picture with Bernie Sanders too. So I get up there, and I'm like, hey, Bernie, can I get a picture with you real quick? He's all, sure. He's wearing his mask. He doesn't even take his mask. Him and his assistant were the only two on the airplane with the mask on, by the way. The only fucking two, right? And so I take a picture.
Until Joe Biden says it is.
Yeah. Exactly. And so I take a picture with him, and then I'm like, hey, Bernie, you remember when you co-sponsored that bill to audit the Fed with Ron Paul back in the 80s or whatever? You think you could do something like that again? And again, all I got from him was like, sure. Uh-huh. and then I went and sat back down, and I was like, man, I could have said so many more cool things, but I was glad I got out like Ron Paul, because here's the deal. When he's talking about principles, Ryan's somewhat right here.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. But what it is that he was like the left's Ron Paul. Mm-hmm. He's been saying the same shit for 50 fucking years. A
lot of people voted for Ron Paul and him.
Right.
Just because they saw like old man with principles.
Well, there was a lot of people that
are attracted to integrity.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that left Ron Paul and either went to Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump. And that makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. Zero sense.
Well, you can say what you like. Trump isn't a great politician, but he doesn't put on a face. He's not trying to be out here like,
right, yeah,
I'm better than all of you. I'm trying to play the role of president. He's just like, I'm out here being Donald Trump. Like it or don't, I don't give a shit.
Right. Like, he could literally walk out and just shoot someone and everyone would still love him.
By the way, this is the loudest Ryan has ever been on the show. I've had to adjust his levels like 3 times. He's just like yelling over fucking everybody. I don't know what's going on.
He really likes Bernie Sanders.
I'm becoming a libertarian, he says.
I do want to apologize, Ryan. I shouldn't have told you to shut up, but seriously, shut the fuck up, dude.
I probably do need to shut up.
I love you to death, dude. You're my favorite co-host I've ever had.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
the only co-host I've ever had. My favorite.
Yeah.
My kids love you.
Does your mom count as a co-host for the one episode she was in studio?
No, she was a guest.
I thought he was going for your mom joke. Does your mom count? I was like, what's he about to say? Like, okay.
Before we get going, because we are over the hour, I want to say David Brady has been a member for 4 months. Thank you, sir. He said, tell Sam I don't regret a single tweet that was deleted.
Hell yeah. You're the shit, David. We love you.
That's my dude, David. I fucking love that little kid so much.
He's a good dude.
Yeah,
you want to reword that?
I'll be honest, we only keep him around because he's a redhead and we like the diversity.
There is not a more based 12-year-old than David Brady. Right. Guarantee you.
He's 12 and a half now, dude.
Yeah, he just had a birthday, I think.
He does look very young, but he's so fucking based, dude. He's like, it makes me proud because I know somewhere in that like chain of fucking people, because I worked on Ron Paul's campaign in 2008 and then I got involved with the party. I know somewhere in that chain I had something to do with making that kid so fucking based. Whether it was like direct or not, there's somewhere in there, and I'm just so proud. I'm like a proud
I'm so
dad.
jealous of him too. Like, imagine being that young, getting into libertarianism. Like, when I was growing up, I was just bored out of my mind. I'd read whatever book I could get my hands on, and like nothing super interesting. It's like, man, if I had that back then, I'd be a genius.
Bro, when I was his age, I joined the military to go fight the Taliban because of 9/11. Literally right after 9/11.
Did you win?
No. 20 years later, we're like, here, Taliban, have your whole country back. So we bomb the shit out of your
Thank you for your
sheep
service
farmers.
fighting over there, so we don't have to fight them over here.
Let me read some more of these before we go. It was basically nobody can see anything. So all of the members, like the long-term channel members, are dropping their.
You are viewing this through the eyes of Helen Keller.
Yeah.
And Stevie Wonder.
Dickie Walnut's been a member for 13 months. Thanks, dude. He said, oh, cool, a free milestone message because I'm an OG. Joshua Bond, member for 14 months. Thank you, sir. Some of them podcasts out there think they're buff, but BTC is buffer because we're buffering. That was a good. That was really good.
Oh, wow.
Shannon Lee, member for 15 months. That's Mama.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Shannon's
love
mom.
Shannon. She's
After
been-
the first show, she like DM'd me, being like,
She's
"These
been
guys
around.
are gonna bully you, but I'll keep them in line." And I was like, "I think I can handle myself, but
Right,
thank you."
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's why I waited so long to get you in the Discord. I was like, these guys are gonna fucking eat him to death. I don't know what to do. No, but they do like you.
I love Ian Dawson. So don't change.
Ian Graphene Dawson, bro. We're doing big
Wait,
things over here.
where'd the Dawson come from?
Because you were
Ryan
going hard
Dawson.
on Israel and the Jews earlier. So Ryan Dawson.
Oh, I don't know who Ryan Dawson is.
Shannon Lee's been a member for 15 months. She says, since we're all using our milestone chat boxes, she dropped the sure emoji. Doing
Sure,
great,
sure.
guys. That's because that's my tagline on here. I basically just say
Sure.
sure all the time. I don't actually say anything. Daniel 3 podcast member for 15 months. Thank you so much. Some of these people have been a member since the very beginning, dude, and I fucking love them to death. He said, boomer the cycle. Because I boomered the fuck. I don't know what's going on, dude. We haven't had any issues like this.
Yeah.
Until we did that first
Romans 13, Daniel.
Well,
Or Jacob.
we did our first virtual stream. We brought Clint on, and then we dropped the whole stream, and actually ended up only getting
35
minutes of a stream, and that
They
was
got it. Got so many views.
It got a lot of views. Yeah, we had
That guy.
we had almost 1,000 people watching live when we brought Clint on, and we dropped the stream at 35
Clint's the
minutes.
shit.
Dude.
Clint is the shit.
Yeah, Clint's the homie, dude. I love that dude to
Yeah,
death.
I love that guy.
I wonder if he's a CIA honeypot sometimes, because he's always talking about like how you're gonna have to fight and all this shit. But he's got all this like
He
endless
does have the
money
look.
and shit.
Like
I'm
if you were to picture a CIA agent, he's
that'd
got
be the
looks.
one, dude. He's
Yep.
he's a little middle aged, like, you know what I mean. He's
a big
scaring me,
dude.
Clint, dude.
He's actually the only person I met in real life where I was like, he's exactly like he looks like on the podcast.
he is, and I
He's
love
just as
Clint.
tall and yeah, he's great.
Yeah, Clint. Me and Clint are the same height, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
we're-
tell.
I'm tall.
I
too,
feel
dude.
like we need to
You're
start
6'2".
Two, yeah.
slowly replacing like a piece of decoration like a month with something CIA themed until like the whole studio just becomes like all this CIA propaganda.
Well, I am currently setting up a PO box so that listeners of the show can send me things to put in the background of the show.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's why I haven't filled these shelves up back here yet. And I have some space up top too for premium.
Dirk, you got an extra
members.
dildo, right?
What?
I did. I specified specifically that I will not put your dildos up though.
No.
And if you
What else
send
you
me
got?
and if you send me dildos, I'm gonna send you because you're gonna put a return address on there. and
Well,
I'm
I
gonna
got
send
a
you
blow
something
up doll.
worse.
How about that?
That'd be kind of funny though. I'm not gonna lie. There's already podcasts that have blow up dolls in the back though. It'd be kinda-
Yeah,
it'd be
right. I'll
kinda
think
gay,
of something original.
dude. Yeah, you got to come up with something better. But anyways, before we do cut out of here, because we're going to cut out and then do the members only stream. Ryan, you brought up a really interesting news story earlier about chess. Something completely unexpected about chess.
And now he goes back to getting quiet.
Yeah, and I love to play chess. I'm not a very good chess player. My friend Natalie, you know Natalie from the Mises Institute. Natalie,
I thought of something funny, but I
she
can't
posts a
say
lot
it. It's too
of
late.
honeypot pictures that people get mad about, but she's really cool. And Dennis Shelvin, I think I said her name right. I've had her on the show before as well. She's really cool, but she is a big chess player, and so is like Walter Block and all these people that I respect a lot. I'm not a great chess player, but I do love playing chess.
I was pretty good at watching the Gambit or whatever.
You're good at watching
The
it?
Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, I was.
He's
I
like,
watched it
he's
very
like, I
well.
sit in the corner in a tiger mask, just keep it loose. You know what I mean? No, I do appreciate chess, but it's not really like newsworthy for Break the Cycle.
Yeah.
Until today. So why don't you go ahead and let us know what happened in chess today, buddy?
So Magnus Carlson, the best player in the world, he's like the Michael Phelps of chess, essentially.
He's a big stoner.
I don't know, maybe, but he's incredibly good at chess, and he was in a tournament. I think in the first round, and the lowest ranked player in the tournament beat him. And so Magnus Carlson has accused him of cheating. Well, they do pat downs and all sorts of other things to make sure that you're not bringing any device in with you. So the prevailing theory is that this guy cheated using vibrating anal beads in order to communicate to him what the best move would be. So he had like somebody on the outside running like a chess computer simulation and then communicating via vibrating anal beads.
Wait,
hell yeah.
So
Not just the
let
best
me just
mood
let me just say
would be.
that's 4D chess right there.
It is.
not just vibrating anal beads.
Or a butt plug, one of the two.
Not just vibrating anal beads. Okay, remote control, Morse code, vibrating anal beads, dude. That's some
playing chess through Morse code. I mean,
that is some
he
fucking,
deserved to win.
That is some really significant shit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
It's gonna be.
and so Magnus Carlson today released like an official statement about it, basically saying, yeah, like, I've seen this guy. He cheated in the past.
I've seen
on, like,
his anal beads before.
Yeah.
chess.com, and then I've seen how he plays before, and like he was processing the board in a different way and whatnot, and these weren't paths that I would have thought he would have known how to take. And you know, all you really need is, like, when you're that high level of chess player, you just need a signal like to a certain part of the
your
board.
body.
And it'll be like, oh, then it's, you know, D4 to E8 to da-da-da-da. And you
Now I'm trying to
just go
think about what
forever.
other sports you could use vibrating anal beads to win.
That's like the
Spelling
best
bee?
thing too. Is like.
Spelling.
I'm accusing you of vibrating anal beads. Like, and like two
Yeah,
security
well-
guards rush over and then pull his pants down.
Oh, and the
So
they, like,
It's like a corny
a couple
detective
days
show.
later, they got matched up in an like online tournament. Magnus Carlson played one move, then immediately resigned. And Magnus Carlson hasn't officially said anything about like anal beads or butt plug, but that's kind of what internet sleuths have determined what the only way this guy could have been cheating is. And then the guy has also offered to play completely buck naked to prove his innocence.
With his butthole open.
it just gets better. This story gets better and better.
It-
He's
it's-
like, fuck it.
it-
You know what? I'm gonna take the clothes off and play naked. Why don't you put
That's
Why
some
don't you
new-
put a
new
stethoscope
standard.
on my asshole?
Yeah, I'll get a colonoscopy mid match.
Bring on the colonic. We're gonna clean out halfway through the match just to prove I don't have vibrating anal beads, and I'm just better than you at chess. So in chess,
Incest.
if someone's better than you, all you have to do is accuse them of using vibrating anal beads. That's it. That's all you got to do, and then you win.
Well, there's no one better than Magnus Carlson.
Apparently, there is.
Apparently.
Whether
Why
he
would
has